Hey guys, it's me again. Have you ever imagined a world where King Louis XVI stopped the French Revolution by using steampunk android weapons of war? No? Well, Spiders, the developers for Steel Rising, certainly did. As far as Souls-like games go, you've got to hand it to them for the original story and setting. The still aptly named City of Lights burns brighter in this robotic rendition of 18th century Paris. The flames flicker fervently, illuminating the crimson remains of fallen revolutionaries. Pretty dark, huh? Well, that's where Aegis comes in, a robot designed to protect and amuse Queen Marie Antoinette. She's a very modern and progressive robot with her own moral code, unlike the robots roaming the ruined streets of Paris. In order to locate her inventor, Eugene de Vaucanson, who could hold the secret to halting the increasingly unstable Louis XVI and his army of automatons, Queen Antoinette sends the mechanical revolutionary deep into the center of the capital. Players begin the game by selecting one of 4 classes, each of which determines your starting weapon and attributes. These classes are the Bodyguard, Soldier, Dancer, and Alchemist. Bodyguards have high durability and rely on melee attacks to deal damage. Meanwhile, the Soldier is a balanced offensive class who wields a halberd to deal high damage. The Dancer is swift and can chain attacks in quick succession to immobilize enemies. Last but not least is the Alchemist, who specializes in dealing elemental damage. Later on, players can change their playstyles, although getting upgrade resources tends to be a tad bit tedious. Having various weapons in your arsenal makes Aegis a more versatile fighter, which makes optimizing her all the more difficult. The positive aspect being that it does result in a more interesting late game. I can, however, see how casual players may be turned off by the required commitment, and that's a real shame, as this game is one of the better Souls-likes I've played. Swords, polearms, chains, fans, and mallets are just a few of the bladed and blunt weapons that Aegis can use in battle, along with explosives and firearms. Each weapon has a unique set of weak, fierce, and charged fierce attacks in addition to unique special abilities. Anima Essence, Steel Rising's experience equivalent, can also be used to boost a weapon's stats or to upgrade Aegis herself, giving her a more powerful moveset, greater armor, elemental resistance, or the ability to upgrade her animations. As I explored various Parisian neighborhoods, each with its own particular style and architecture, I also got to meet assortments of fascinating, bizarre, and extremely dangerous adversaries, in trademark Souls-like fashion. Contrary to the reviews I've seen online, the game hasn't been too difficult, with a respectable dodge that lets you evade enemy attacks. While Aegis does lack a dedicated block button, defensive weapon abilities can also be used to protect yourself. Likewise, offensive abilities are used to make short work of enemies. Players should be careful as they dodge enemy attacks. And you know what happens when you run out of stamina in a Souls game? Don't run out of stamina. Several times, that is. Unless you plan on joining the piles of corpses morbidly surrounding the city. Our precious Aegis deserves a far better fate, so we're just going to have to train, understand enemy patterns, and learn from our deaths. You know the drill, this is standard Souls-like stuff. Unless you're new, then you're either going to love the challenge or hate it. The automaton designs are also amazing. It's easily the strongest point of Steel Rising. Each enemy is deftly woven to make your life miserable in countless ways, but what's amazing is how they all seem to serve a purpose in Steel Rising's fictional Parisian culture. From lumberjack machines capable of cutting you to bits, to musical automata that crush you with various instruments. Although enemy attacks can have excessively long, clunky animations, this is all in line with the game's steampunk aesthetic. It's splendid game design, and you love to see it. But if you're ever having trouble, there's an assist mode that enables you to change several settings to adjust the game's difficulty. Altering the rate at which stamina regenerates or reducing the harm opponents may do are some of the options one can use to make the game easier. You can also choose to maintain your Anima Essence, which is normally lost upon death if you fail to recover it. Instead of having one continuous open world, the game is divided into zones, areas you'll be returning to again and again as the story unfolds. Each zone tends to bring players back to earlier areas of the level once you kill the first few bosses, who gives Aegis much appreciated abilities. Steel Rising sets itself apart from previous games in the Souls-like subgenre by including a Metroidvania aspect. Basically, these powers can be used to explore previously inaccessible sections. One of these skills, for instance, is a grappling hook that enables you to cling to designated spots. Overall, though, exploration can get a little confusing when you move through maze-like streets, and it doesn't help that these areas tend to look very similar. What's worse, Steel Rising lacks area maps, like the ones seen in other Souls-like games. This inclusion would have certainly been useful for keeping track of your exploration, though players do have a compass at their disposal that offers directions for both the primary objective and any side tasks they've completed. Additionally, the game neglects to let you know that some side missions may only be started when you've reached a specific point in the main story. While Steel Rising is far from perfect, it does deliver with its hard action, original enemy design, and an unusual and evocative portrayal of one of Western history's great turning points. It's easy to like it. That is, if you can gloss over the perplexing level design, unappealing UI, and a combat system that has yet to be fully refined. Nonetheless, you can see Spiders put a lot of passion into this project. Even though the final product is not quite the success it could have been, I'm a fan of Steel Rising original premise and Dark Souls inspiration. The way I see it, Spiders hit all the right notes, but didn't tune it up to par. If you're a fan of Souls games, robot violence, the French Revolution, dying excessively, King Louis XVI, and getting lost, I can definitely say that Steel Rising is worth a buy. What do you guys think? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. This is Airyhead signing out.